writing clinic, I want to focus on transition words. And so we've been talking a lot about our writing lately and ways we can improve it. And I think one of the biggest things that we can do in service of making our writers stronger is make sure we are adequately using transition words. As you guys know, everything we do happens because we need to help our reader. You, as the writer, are smarter than your reader. Your reader, therefore, needs your help to understand the relationship between and among your ideas. When you use a transition word, you help your reader to understand how two or more ideas are connected. I would like to look at an example of this right below. Here I have a set of sentences that includes transition words and then one that does not. I think you'll be able to see that the one that does include transition words helps me as the reader understand how these different ideas are related a little bit better than had I not used them at all. For example, this is the first one without transition words. There are many different genres of novel. Most novels are based on the author's imagination. Fantasy novels create entirely different worlds. Some novels are based in the real world. Now, this is easy to understand for us, but when we get into more complicated text, that's when it's especially important to clarify ideas. Even with a subject this easy, I think you'll see that when we add in the transition words, there's a big difference. There are many different genres of novel. In general, most novels are based on the author's imagination. For example, fantasy novels create entirely different worlds. However, some novels are based in the real world. Not only do these transition words help clarify ideas, but it also just makes your writing sound stronger. Sentence variation and switching things up is super important so the reader's ear doesn't get bored rather. And when we just have the same sentence over and over again with no transition words, the reader's ear gets a little bit bored. I was able to choose these different transition words because I understood the relationship between the sentences. The first sentence said there are many different genres of novel. And it's hard to say the relationship here because this is the first one, so I just put down introduces topic. The second sentence says most novels are based on the author's imagination. This to me seems like it's providing extra information or additional information about novels. That's why I was able to pick the word in general, because I was getting this background knowledge about what novels are. The next sentence, fantasy novels create entirely different worlds, seems like it's a specific example of one of these fiction novels. That's again how I was able to choose the word for example. Some novels are based in the real world. This example is the only one where it doesn't seem to be in line with the rest of them. The second sentence tells us that most novels are based on the author's imagination, and this last sentence says some are based in the real world. Those are opposite ideas. Thus, I need a word that shows contrast. In this example, I picked however. Different types of transition words show different relationships. It's super important that you understand exactly what relationship each transition word has. On Rethink for today's lesson, I've attached a document that has a series of transition words categorized by relationship. So all of the words that show contrast are together, all of the words that are summary are together, all of the words that are time are together, etc. Because it is so important you know these relationships, because if you use the wrong one, your reader's actually more confused. So if I said, Miss Moynihan is currently reading a new challenge book called Sapiens. However, she hopes it will help raise her lexile. When I see the word however as a reader, I'm expecting contrast. However, in this case, it doesn't seem like I'm actually showing contrast. I'm reading a challenge book and I'm hoping it raises my lexile. That does not seem like two opposite ideas to me. In fact, it seems like I'm reading this book because I hope it will raise my lexile. Do you think there's a better word I could have used instead of however? Pause the video and I want you to write down whatever word you came up with and see if it makes more sense. When you do that, make sure you're also writing down the relationship between the two sentences. Now it's going to be time for some practice. I've gotten two different types of problems for you here, where the first couple, you're just filling in the blanks with a transition word of your choice. And again, this is where it could be super helpful to look at the document that I've attached to Rethink. And then the second group, I actually want you to finish the sentences. So I'm including a transition word that signals a certain relationship, and you have to come up with the second sentence that matches that. There are a few examples here that you can work on during class. After you finish these examples, there is an exit ticket on Rethink for you to complete. Completing this exit ticket will help me understand where we are right now on transition words. If you're getting 100% of these right, or you think this is super easy, I'm going to be expecting to see extra transition words in your own papers to make sure that we're not only understanding this, but also applying it to our writers. Go ahead and pause the video and begin the practice problems. If you finish early, you may take out your IR book, but make sure you've turned in the exit ticket on Rethink. Otherwise, you will not get a grade for it.